Hey everybody, welcome to Veteran Nation. It's not Tuesday. It's it's definitely a Saturday. So, and we are live right now. Um, I just it's been a couple weeks. We've had the holidays and everything. So I'm not really doing a whole lot tonight. So I thought I would just jump on here and just have a little bit of fun. See who's out there, what type of things you guys are doing. I hope you had a great holiday. I know I had a very good one. I spent the holidays with my family. Um, had to travel. I had to brave the blizzard, uh, which they sent me through Chicago. And I said, "Really? Because they changed my flight, and I was like, "Do you really have to send me through Chicago? Everything on the news says nothing's moving out of there." And they're like, "Oh, no, 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 everything's moving. It's New Jersey." And sure enough, I got to Chicago, and nothing was moving out of Chicago. So I had to use some really interesting ways of trying to find a way out of Chicago. Pretty much threw the kitchen sink at it, and eventually got out of. Once I got out of Chicago, traveling was fine. Just everything was shut down right there, so was not the best thing. But when you engage your brain, you can find solutions to almost any problem. And that's exactly what I did. I realized I probably didn't have the answer, so I started talking to people I knew from the area. Uh, I I was able to reach out to a couple of them, and some people that I've had um, the really good fortune of knowing uh, were able to put me in contact with other people that I'd met before, and I was able to get through it no problem. But a lot of people, oh my God, if you're if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I posted a video of the customer service line in the Chicago airport, and oh my God, the people there just freaking out. You know, some people, I understand traveling is not easy. Um, I enjoy traveling. I really do. So for me, when I'm not the one driving and not the one having to do everything, for me, that's not that stressful. But I know that's not the truth for other people. So I know people were really freaking out and like, just couldn't even comprehend. And I was talking to a couple of these travelers, and I was like, look, this is not the end of the world. It's just a delay. It's just, and I said, I bet you it's going to be a situation where once you get out of Chicago, everything will be fine. And that's how it was for me. Um, so yeah, just people freaking out. Um, so I mean, I hope you didn't have that type of stress. Um, for me, no complaints. Um, I made it to where I needed to go. It was a little bit uncomfortable, but I guess the military. I think really helped me to learn how to be uncomfortable and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Sitting in an airport for hours. Anyone who's done a deployment, you have to manifest before your flight about 4 hours prior, and then that flight's probably going to come in late, and that means it's going to leave late. So you're looking at about 6 to 8 hours before you actually get on a military flight. So when I'm sitting in Chicago and I'm watching my flight just get delayed by a half hour, half hour, it really wasn't a bother to me. I'm like, well, you know, I slept on the floor in Kyrgyzstan, so I guess I can do it here. So um, that was my travel experience. Don't know what all you are looking to talk about. I do have the chat up, so if you're in here watching, leave a comment, and I'll tailor this stream to you. I'm looking through right now. I've got Reddit's Our Veterans up, and I'm just going to go through and look at a few things that people are talking about here. Um, Here's one. This is a very common thing for combat veterans that I've seen. It's entitled "How Do You Control the Rage?" Long story short, I just ruined a family vacation on the first night. We were supposed to have a nice and relaxing time with family, but now this expensive trip is down the toilet. I lost my shit over nothing and sent everyone home. I'm sitting in a hotel room and wondering, what am I going to do? How do you control the rage? I don't know what to do. It feels like there's no hope. I cannot control myself. I have an appointment with mental health on the 19th, but I don't think I'm going to make it. First off, I'll just say to this guy, and I hope this gentleman. Um, oh, and you know what? I might. He it looks like he's near me, so I might actually reach out to this veteran. But acknowledging that it's a problem. You have. It's like being an addict. You have to hit rock bottom. You have to feel very low, and I'm a part of that. I felt like the whole world was against me. And, I understood even then that wasn't the case, but that's how it feels. So, that's what it is. Um, but yeah, you have to hit rock bottom because then, only then are you going to realize that the only way things are going to change, the only way is through you. That's the only way anything's going to happen. You can't wait for other people. You have to. And I get a lot of veterans who reach out to me who are like, hey, this can't keep going. But after I talk with them, it becomes very apparent that they don't want to change, at least yet. That day will come. And what I do then is I just be a positive person. I just say, okay, here's the things that I can tell you work. Here's the things I can tell you that you should try. I would encourage anyone, hey, talk to a doctor, try therapy. If they offer you, drugs, try them. Try them. I'm not saying they're going to work. Try them. They might work. And the thing is, if it works, then you're done. You don't have to do anything more. Try it. I got to a point where I was willing to try anything, and yeah, that's what I would recommend to people. Let's read what this guy has to say. He says, "Firstly, my dude, I gotta say I'm sorry you're feeling this way. There's so much we don't understand about emotion and how to pull away from feelings that seem to consume the moment. Finding someone you can trust that has the education necessary to help without judgment is difficult." That is so true, right there. Um, I'm going through it right now with my VA. They will not give me a therapist that meets my criteria. And really all it comes down to is money. The VA doesn't want to spend the money because I live in a rural area and they don't want to, dedicate the funds. Hold on, I got some people texting me here. There we go. But yeah, you know, it's hard. And when the VA constantly changes your therapist, it is so hard because it is it's very frustrating, and then you have to relive the trauma by talking about it and going through the emotions again and again, and it's incredibly difficult. And I think that's, if there's one thing I can, for people who, if you're a family member and you're watching this, you watch our show to try to see how you can help a family member. uh, that's the hardest thing, is reliving that trauma over and over and over. Um, because yeah, it makes you feel like you're taking steps backwards, especially when you've gone so far and you're like, oh, this again, seriously. So that's yeah. But there's a lot of veterans out there who don't recognize that there's a problem, who don't want to change. And unfortunately, we can't make them do anything. Um, Rage and anger are not alone emotions. Sorry, I made soup and I got some of the stuff still stuck in my teeth. So sorry if I keep yanking stuff out. Rage and anger are not alone emotions, meaning they usually have a catalyst and observers. It helps to talk to an experienced person and realize that you are not alone. Absolutely. The military teaches us how to push beyond reasonable boundaries daily. Absolutely. Dude, this guy this guy's hitting a home run. Push to finish the rook, the long convoy, muscle failure, etc. But it doesn't teach us that applying this learned ability has adrenal consequences. So true. Best of luck now. The things you are experiencing can become more manageable. Hope hope is hope is free. Your brothers and sisters of the internet are with you. Recognize the change in emotion, what happens to your body when you feel enraged. Try to challenge the level of emotions. Ask the easy questions of yourself. Does my rage fit the moment? If it doesn't, you may be able to not give your rage power over the moment. There are people out there that specialize in the techniques to navigate these moments. Um, Sometimes vocalizing that, hey, I am right now going to lose it. So I'm going to back away from the situation. That can, if you're in an abusive situation or with someone else who has mental illness, that might be a door opening for them, as what I dealt with. When I would say, okay, I am walking away from this moment right now because you have me up here. And that individual doesn't let you walk away. They follow and they try to invade on your space. That's an incredibly difficult thing to get through. Um, so it's not easy. Um, this guy responds. That's what I'm trying to do to push through. Looking okay. Yeah, people give him some good techniques here, but things that not always will be. Sorry, I got people sending me funny stuff here. Um, you need to change the messaging. You can control yourself. You really can. It's going to require that you understand what's making you so angry and the feelings underneath that anger. Absolutely. So much of therapy I found was just answering questions like, well, why did you do this? Why did that make you mad? Why, and once you start analyzing and understanding, oh, I'm getting, for me it wasn't anger. For me it was I was constantly looking for a way to survive, um, or a way to get myself out of the situation that I was being placed into. Um, you know, Once you start realizing, oh yeah, okay, I understand. Like I had, an abusive partner who would uh, do things like would purposefully try to push buttons, and would anything that I said would try to turn. Um, so once I understood that, oh, it takes two people to argue, and by them trying to do this, I don't have to let them push the button. I don't. They can say whatever they want, and what they're trying to do is get a reaction out of me, and I'm going to deny them that reaction, and I'm going to funnel my energy into something else. That was a very big first step. Um, now, now when I have people who try to push my buttons, like I laugh, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't understand. I've got a PhD in this now. Like you can pound on that button and it ain't gonna do anything. It's broke. It's broke, dude." And that's where you should try to eventually get to be. Um, it's gonna take a lot of practice for you to take space and not immediately pop off. Um, I wouldn't say practice. I think just a realization. Once you start coming to the realization, it's like, well, I don't have to react that way. I don't have to give them a reaction. Um, that's when it becomes incredibly good, um, because then you're on your way. You can develop that skill to recognize your feelings and step away when you start feeling yourself get angry. Absolutely. Um, you can start looking at some cognitive behavioral therapy workshops on YouTube and Google. A little mindfulness will help as well. Okay, yeah, those are all good. Again, if these things don't work for you, great. They don't work for you. Go on to the next thing. Don't give up. Don't give up. You're not alone. Everybody, we've all been through some type of trauma. Everybody has. So you're not alone. So you can get through this. Um, just have a better response. And I have a plan in my head when I can feel someone trying to encroach on me. I start going through my I call it my PTSD plan, and I start going through it, and it serves me very well. Doesn't mean I haven't had to make some changes, but yeah. um, I'm looking through here. Dialectic behavioral therapy works best for me. Okay, again, a lot of great things here. There's a book I read after years of therapy that my therapist recommended, The Body Keeps the Score. It's about how trauma and PTSD function in our body and mind. It's not a self help book, it's written by someone who was treating veterans with PTSD when it was still shell shock, and his studies on it, various treatments. It might sound intimidating, but it's written at a simple level. Okay, I'd actually be interested in reading that book, so I think I'm going to put that on my list. Um, That being said, my friend, you can make it until you see a therapist. I believe in you. I'm waiting to see one right now. Yeah, it's if you're waiting for the VA, it's frustrating. I know. I know. Welcome to the club is what I was told by so many other veterans. And yeah, we have to band together, and yeah, we have to work really hard to try to make the VA a better place. I just want to check on this stream and make sure it looks good, because the way I'm looking at it here, I love simplifying. Shut up. Yeah, the way it looks here. Okay, yeah, everything looks clear. It looks very blurry on my end over here, so it's just a remnants of OBS, I'm guessing. Uh, Years ago, I was struggling with the point of ruining relationships, threatening my career, etc. Beyond the normal veteran issue like PTSD, I just started hormone therapy, and that exacerbated the temper and shortened fuse. It took a few things from me. I'm doing better today, though it's a constant exercise. The VA's ACT program was great for me. Great to hear. I'm an introspective overthinker, this guy. And that program was perfect. It did one-on-one with therapists. It's also about mindfulness and acceptance and grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are huge. As you all may be aware, I'm one of the mentors with Battle Buddies, and we do grounding techniques every single time we talk to a veteran, because when we're on our phone and we're trying to reach out to somebody, we're very powerless. So we have to make sure that they're not going to do something to hurt themselves. So there's a couple things that we have to do, and grounding techniques are a very good way to help someone get out of their head. Their head becomes a prison. It puts them in a negative cycle. So we have to break them of that, and yeah, use grounding techniques. Um, Outside of that, it was finding ways I could reasonably lower my stress level, primarily through adequate sleep, sticking to a schedule, eating right, and exercising when I can include just going for a walk. Anything, anything you can do to get rid of that stress. Here's where the danger of that type of thinking, though. I'm not saying this person's wrong, because they're not. Uh, but when you get people who get focused on just getting rid of the stress, well, what type of things are they going to do to get rid of the stress? Uh, a lot of times that's where you see drugs and alcohol. And I would tell anyone not to self medicate. All you're doing is treating a symptom, and you're not treating the problem. So if, if if you have cancer, lung cancer, and you're taking cough medicine, you're not getting better. Okay, yeah, the cough might go away for a short time, but you're not getting better. Um, so that's what I would say to that. Like, yeah, definitely do healthy things to reduce the stress. I wouldn't go out drinking. I wouldn't, a lot of people pick up marijuana. I wouldn't personally do it. Um, I only do that as a very last resort. And I'll tell you, I've only really done it once where I was having an attack so bad that I did so many of my, I went through my little plan and I was going through and I was, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this. And nothing was getting me, and like my hands were visibly shaking and nothing was getting me out of it. And, someone said, here, I've got an edible, here, take a little bit of it. And that stopped the shaking and did allow me to sleep. But the thing about it is, I'm not doing that every time. That is not my plan. That's, that's that break in case of emergency type of thing. Because if it becomes your plan, as you see with so many people, what happens is they start treating with substance, and substance leads to substance abuse. I'm not saying that, marijuana is a bad drug. I'm not saying that. I think it should absolutely be legalized. And I think people who want to do it should be able to do it. Same thing with alcohol. I'm not against, or I'm against prohibition. If you need to have a drink, have a drink. I wouldn't make that your routine. You know, with both of those, I don't see it going down a good road. Uh, I started using audiobooks to take my mind out of my current space. I think that's a really great thing right there, but not as meaningless as games on my phone. Again, games on your phone would probably work. Um, get too much into your phone, that's a negative thing. I wouldn't do that. Unless if, like if you're gaming in a community, I think that can be incredibly healthy. Um, and we've had gamers on the show. So yeah. Uh, uh, let's see what other people are. So that's that one there. Um, let's look up what's going on Ask Reddit. Let's see what we can answer here. Uh, what are some behaviors that scream unintelligence? Ooh. Um, honestly, an inability to control your emotions. For me. Um, okay, that number one answer that someone said, inability to consider an idea with which you disagree. Debate and discussion is huge. It's about sharing of information. I have no problem arguing with people. I've got no problem talking with people with different ideas than mine, and I will listen. I will. Um, a lot of people accuse me of watching certain media and stuff, and when I tell them where I actually get my information, they're shocked, because I'm the type of person, I listen to things that do not I read things that do not agree with my worldview. And a lot of it's because I want to understand where they're coming from. I already know where I'm coming from. I don't need an echo chamber. Um, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, what are some behaviors that scream intelligence? This guy says, I'm not sure if you can reliably judge intelligence based solely on behavior, but people who try to board the train while others are exiting score pretty effing high in my book. Yeah, that, for me, people do it. Oh my God, I was dealing with it while I was traveling. People who want to get off the plane like immediately. It's like, dude, don't rush me, don't crowd me. Like, things go fast. Slow is steady, steady's fast. That's how I approach things. Like, give me some time to move through things. So I can kind of see with that one. I don't think it screams in unintelligence, but definitely is a funny point. Not willing to admit when they are wrong and always deflecting their mistakes instead of owning up. Um, that's a bad trait. I don't think it's unintelligence, though. I know some really intelligent people who cannot admit when they are wrong, and they actually need time. They need time to kind of like relook at everything. And I find that they eventually come around. If you're looking for them to make a change right there, then and there, yeah, it normally doesn't happen. Um, Not being curious about things and not caring about learning about anything. Okay, that's a hard one for me to not be biased because I am such a curious person. I get very interested about things and I go down the rabbit holes about things. And like I said, I love to travel. I am comfortable being uncomfortable. I've been in cultures by myself. I'm not talking about Afghanistan. I'm talking about being in other cultures by myself where I did not speak the language. I did not know the local customs. But I was willing to learn, and I was also willing to deal with people politely and look up, and try to find out what's a polite way to act here. And politeness does go a very long way, I find. Um, when you no longer use reason but start using volume to win your arguments. Wow, yeah, Reddit, this is you. Reddit gave up reason a long time ago, and when you start silencing people, it's because you don't want to hear. You want to be louder, and you don't want to hear other people. I will say this: if someone's saying something you don't like, you should bring more words then don't shout them down, but definitely use logic, use reason, and use words to combat them. Because if you just try to shut them down, then you look like the one who doesn't know. Attacking the person instead of the argument. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that with me. It doesn't mean they're not intelligent. Just means they don't know really how to debate. Um, Unwillingness to examine a source to see if it's credible. I see people cite articles with misspellings, substantial claims, blatant falsehoods. Don't care because they want to believe. I know it's hard to be challenged. Well, that's why if you're arguing with someone and they're bringing certain sources, you should go and look at their sources and use their sources against them. Like look into their sources and just turn it right back around. Uh, Far more effective because then they can't discredit the source. Um, Again, that's why people are very shocked when they try to accuse me of, well, you only watch this or you read this. They would be very shocked if they saw what I read and where I get my news and information. Um, let's see. This one, I think we kind of went over the big things. There's a lot of repeating stuff there. What tattoo is a turnoff? Oh, I'm going to get hate mail for this one. On a woman, I'm turned off by most tattoos. I will say that. Um, Mainly because when I look at most of them, I just think a lot of them are stupid, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I've got a tattoo. It means a lot to me. It has meaning to me. Um, but women tend to do a lot of generic things, and I'm gonna talk about the live, laugh, love signs, and oh, I went to Target and I bought this inspirational sign. They kind of do the same shit with tattoos. That's what annoys me. Now, if someone has something very unique, uh, but with meaning, I'm probably gonna like it. But oh yeah, I've got the 3 roses for my children, Caden, Aiden, and Jaden. Uh, just I get so frustrated with uninteresting things. I I get fascinated by interesting people. Um, when I was changing with my boyfriend for the first time, he took off his pants and his entire upper leg was covered with giant leopard spots. I almost screamed. You probably should have ran. I probably would have called him Chester Cheetah. Uh, anything poorly drawn. My ex was a hot guy. He got a wolf tattoo on his chest. Oh my god, I had cross eyes and a fat, weird face. For some reason, pine trees embedded in the fur. Oh, just why? Yeah, people get stupid tattoos. Stupid. Uh, yeah, live, laugh, love. I don't know of anyone that has that as a tattoo, but talk about a horrible tattoo. I know someone who got karma after a divorce. Ugh. Oh, such a bad tattoo. Ugh. I'm gonna get so much hate on this. I already know. I know everybody has different standards of quality and art is subjective, but I think within reason, of course. The worst tattoo is just a badly done one. No, some for me, it's just if they're not interesting. Here you go. Not interesting. Random Chinese words on someone who has no idea what they even say. Absolutely. And the first response, my mom is Chinese and she had to stop herself from laughing because she saw a woman with a giant tattoo on her back in Chinese that meant slut. And you know that girl was like, oh yeah, it means love and togetherness. Stupid. Like, and why are you're not Chinese? Why are you getting Chinese characters? Oh my god, those were always so cringy. Let's see. Oh, that dude Wednesday's tattoo. Yeah, I saw that meme that was going around. Dude got Wednesday and it looks like a pug. Property of, and then not your name. Ugh. Uh, let's see. Um, hmm. I know I'm gonna get hate for that one. People love their tattoos. Um, let's see. What else can we answer here? Hmm. If we had to choose one celebrity to negotiate peace with aliens, who would it be? Oh my god. How bad would it be? Honestly, the answer is probably um, Keanu. Probably Keanu. He's probably the only person that would actually do a pretty good job with negotiating with people he doesn't understand. Because I think he tries to understand people. Let's see who people. Mr. Rogers would save us. Yeah, that's actually a really good answer. Dolly. Okay. Bob Ross. Sir Patrick Stewart. No. Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Keanu. Da, da, da. Jack Black. I wouldn't trust Jack Black with anything, man. David Attenborough. Okay. Do not send Elon. I think Elon would love it. I think he would line right up for it. Let's see. Not Will Smith. Can't run the risk of him finding his wife's name in their mouth. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm really gonna get some hate because I must say a couple controversial things. Will Smith plays the same character in almost every movie that he's in. He's not really that good of an actor, in my opinion. Now, on the flip side, another guy who is beloved, who I don't, I really don't have a problem with his acting skills. I have a problem with his movies. Is Dwayne the Rock Johnson? His movies are all incredibly mediocre. Like, there's not one movie where he is like the main character where I'm like, oh, that movie's great. I could watch that any day of the week. Um, there's a couple movies where like he's in it and I'll watch, but it's not because of him. And it's not really his acting. It's his movie choices, I believe. He's a fan favorite. People go and see, and I'm just like, they're okay. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people watch that I'm just like, whatever. Uh, latest school shooting was committed by a 6-year-old. What are your thoughts on on this tragedy? Here's my thought: 6-year-olds should not be allowed to have a weapon, and they're not. There you go. So how did a 6-year-old get a weapon? Right there. and I'm not even. Not even going to get into it. Um, what are your thoughts about completely legalizing marijuana everywhere? No, I really don't care. It's uh, I don't. Here's my take on marijuana. When people ask me, do I support legalization? Yeah, I got no problem with it. Why don't I smoke marijuana? Because I have yet to meet someone who's an like a daily smoker of marijuana that I can say has gotten smarter. By and large, most people I know who, if I knew them before they were smoking marijuana and then I knew them after they became like a heavy smoker, most of them got dumber. Hands down, got dumber. Started doing dumb shit. So that's why I don't really smoke. If a 90-year-old's caught murdering someone from when he was 25, do you think he should spend the rest of his life in jail? Really depends upon the situation. Um, I would also say it kind of depends upon the cognitive ability of the 95-year-old. So for me, it's going to be, depending on that. I don't like to give cookie cutter answers. I try to find an answer that will fit everything. And I think, you have to know, are they cognitively there? Do they have the mens rea uh, to be put on trial? So that's why we talk about that. Um, you walked into someone's house. What's the first thing you look for? That's the biggest red flag. Ooh, I want to look at this one. I don't even know. A disgusting bathroom. I was in college, so mistreated, neglected animals. Okay, yeah, that one I'll 100% agree with. Just, I get so frustrated with people who have animals and just don't take care of them. It's like, why do you have the animal? Like, if you don't have an animal to give it a good life, what the hell are you even doing? So, there's a lot of people out there who just have, and it's, and I'm a dog person, but it's mainly with dog people. People who don't own a dog for the sake of the dog. And normally, people like that, it's normally a bigger dog, one that's harder for them to control. What's a good smell that you can't stand? Um, hmm. Ooh, this is gonna be for me. I would say something strawberry smelling. Like it generally is a good smell, but it's been way overdone with the women in my life. Um, so let's see what people say. Synthetic vanilla smell. Okay, I can understand that. My great grandmother hated grape smells. All fake rose scented items. Yeah, overdone. Car perfume, fucking nauseous. Uh, what else? Ever been to Bath and Body Works? They're all supposed to be good smells, but it's like an assault on my olfaction. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Um, Guys of Reddit, what's the best compliment a girl could give you? Um, Actually, going back to smells, if she says you smell really nice, I take that as a huge, huge compliment because I'm always trying to make sure I smell good, and I hate it when I don't. And I'm always very self conscious of that. I can be myself around you. Mm, I don't know if that's really a compliment. If a woman were to tell me that, this guy says pretty much any compliment, whatever. I like you. I do like that. If a woman can just be like, hey, I like you, that's fine. I really respect that. Because a lot of women just are not willing to be honest about their feelings with people. Uh, and they need to have that trust and whatnot. Where I think guys will just straight up. It's normally on the bad side, but we'll be like, "Dude, you smell like a shit bag," or "Man, you look like shit." You know. Girl the mole told me I look like Ryan Gosling. She couldn't be more wrong. Comment was an affront to everything Ryan Gosling stands for. Twas appreciated, however. Going to be writing that high for the next 3 to 37 years. I don't know if I agree with that, but I want to have a beer with that dude. When I was younger, I had a meeting with a beautiful, slightly older woman from a different organization that I admired in our industry. We were shaking hands and saying hello. She thoughtlessly blurted out, "Oh, you're cute," and then apologized and said she's not hitting on me and that she's married. Then she tried to change the topic by talking about one of my recent projects, which I was surprised she knew. Both were nice compliments. I would feel pretty good if that happened to me. I love you. You get to hear it, but I imagine it sounds good. You're so cute when you're excited. Mm, I'll go first. Whenever a girl says she feels safe around me, feels secure, comfortable, like yeah, like if a woman says, yeah, I, I feel safe having you around, uh, much better than the I feel like I can be myself. Like because that's what a guy is supposed to do with women. They're supposed to feel safe. You're supposed to be a protector. Um, so yeah, you know you're doing your job then. Let's see. What is your favorite podcast? Do you think anyone's going to say Veteran Nation? I know they're not. We're still very small, but we're helping people, and that's why I don't care how big this thing gets, as long as I keep helping people. Hardcore History with Dan Carlin. I actually like history, so I'll have to check that one out. Last Podcast Network, but best. I've listened to last podcast on the left. It's okay. Um, I prefer watching Forensic Files myself. I'm more of a visual guy on that. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. You know, I just heard about that and I believe it's on Sirius. I'm gonna have to check that one out. Distractible. Haven't seen it. Here's one I will tell everyone. It's a podcast called Who Are These Podcasts? And they are hilarious. These are guys who watch and listen to other podcasts, and then they break them down. And if I'll tell you this, it's run by Carl. Carl, from Who Are These Podcasts? You guys ever want to do Veteran Nation? Rip me up. They pretty much roast people, but they actually do a very good service because they're watching and listening to all these podcasts, so it becomes very clear what works, what doesn't work. So if they were to ever do my show, I don't care if they tell me, "Hey, I'm the worst podcast out there and the show is complete crap." I will be taking notes, listening to them talk about Veteran Nation, because I know that what they'd be saying is the absolute truth, and whatever they say is wrong, I know I could fix. So, anyone out there, text Carl at Who Are These Podcasts to rip us up on Veteran Nation. I'm sure he will. Okay, back to who is your favorite podcast? The Adventure Zone by Balance Arc. Never heard of it. Um, let's see, Sawbones. Never heard of it. Another one I will say, Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve is an amazing doctor. He takes people's. He's on Sirius XM, but he also puts it out on podcast networks. He takes people's, like, if you send, "Hey, here's my problems," like, he will literally, he's a real doctor. He'll go through all the stuff and be like, yeah, here's what. He's not one of these BS doctors like Dr. Drew who's just doing it for the hype. Like, I had sent some stuff to him on Twitter about veterans and PTSD, and he was like, "Hey, get back with me. I'd love to." He's like, "I'll help you out. I'll give you a diagnosis. Take a look at all your labs, everything." And I'm like, "Dude, this guy's amazing." So Dr. Steve and Weird Medicine, um, So there you go. I'm giving you podcasts that are in general very entertaining, but also would help me. um, how do you get out of bad thought spirals? Um, I normally get up and do something that's going to engage my brain. Where I have the hardest part is the biggest thing of my PTSD, makes it hard to sleep, is I will lay there and just start thinking of negative stuff and dwelling on stuff. That's where my service dog, Glory, has been just absolutely life changing. Because I will pull her close and start petting her, and we'll cuddle, and next thing you know, I'm getting my sleep. And for many years there, I didn't get my sleep. So That's for people out there who have a problem with service dogs. Right there, life changing. They are life changing. Um, but yeah, that's what I'll go with. Even though, like, doing something to engage my brain on something more positive. Um, let's see what other people are doing. I usually get distracted by chatting with someone. That absolutely works for me. It's part of my PTSD plan. Do something new, take a long hike, a few miles with a backpack full of snacks and water, or go to a museum. Okay, and I'm laughing about this because I've had so many conversations. I'm a single guy, okay? And, there's all these women out here that, are potential, love interests. And I've got people who are like, oh, I'll set you up with my friend, or, I'll be on Bumble or something like that. And you ask these women, and again, I told you earlier, I like interesting people. If you're interesting, you're gonna have my total attention. But one thing I find here, all these women, they all like to effing hike, and the Marine Corps has ruined hiking for me. Literally, I do not want to walk through nature anymore. I don't. They ruined it. Once you've done it for 20 miles with a 80-pound pack on your back, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So, yeah, I don't really hike. Sorry, all these women who love to hike. And, it's kind of like, maybe that's why I should do it this episode. Just go through, like, because I do have Bumble on here. And some of these women are, I'm not saying they're being fake. I'm just saying they're not being genuine enough. They're all doing the same things over and over. Like, I love the outdoors. Bitch, you don't love the outdoors. I'm looking at your picture right now. You look like you haven't gone outdoors in about 3 years. You say you like to hike, but I guarantee you can't walk to the end of your street without getting winded. Trust me, I see it every day. Um, like, so, uh, I don't want to. I don't want to be negative. So part of me wants to just go through Bumble and start saying all the things that you see over and over and over. But I'm not going to be negative. It's such a cesspool. Um, so yeah, you won't find me hiking. So, and the other thing is, if I wanted to kill somebody, okay, he, if if I'm ever on the news and it's because my girlfriend went missing hiking on a hike that we did together, I killed her. I pushed her at some point. And the thing is, prove it. Prove it. I'm giving it up because I'm willing to say it, because that's where my thoughts are. Like, I could be walking down, looking at the thing, and be like, I could push them right now, and no, I'm not gonna do it. But that's an easy way to get away with it, and then be like, oh yeah, she tripped and fell. I could only sit there and watch helplessly. Someone is watching this, taking notes, and they've just had enough of their partner. Oh man. I lay on the floor and turn off the brain. I can't do it. That's not me. My brain does not shut off. Uh, what song gets you all emotional? Ooh. I'm trying to think. For me, it comes and goes with songs. Actually, the one song I can't get enough of right now is Dolly Parton's "Here You Come Again." I really enjoy that song. I think that's her best song, and I know that's not one of the ones that people always talk about. What's a movie you really enjoy that many people don't know about? I really, really loved The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. It was kind of like a lot of people watched it, but it wasn't like a big known movie. But it's one that if it's on, I can just watch it. And for a long time, like I watched that. I probably watched that for almost 2 years straight. Like that was my. I was gonna go to sleep. I'd turn on that movie and just fall asleep. Um, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, a great Steve Martin movie made from older movies. I'll have to check that one out. Um, a Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, Dead Man's Shoes. This is England. Don't know any of those. Um, let's see. Strange Days. I have seen that. Wasn't really my thing. Um, let's see. What other movies are people? Psycho Gorman. Over the top, campy horror movie with practical special effects. Maybe. So, that's that one. Um, uh, what's the nicest thing you could say about this world? That the power of people's brains are amazing. There has yet to be a problem that there's yet to be a problem that has come that has faced humanity that we have not shown that we are unable to solve. Um, our brains are amazing, and when problems come up, and I know people, especially on Reddit, they like to think dire consequences about a lot of things, but really, when you put enough people thinking about a problem, solutions generally do come up. So that's the nice thing I can say. Um, I like this guy's thought. This is where all the pizza is. There are genuine good people. There's actually a lot of genuine good people out there. And if you don't believe that, it's because you're not interacting with people enough. Puppies are still a thing. Okay, yeah, puppies are great. It's going to be over one day. Yeah, but again, that doesn't seem like a nice thing to say about this world. Um, let's see. There's beauty in it all around us at all times, but we forget to look at it. Very true. Many have the same really interesting stories that can make your day, but we forget to talk to one another. Absolutely. That 100%, dude. What is the biggest turnoff? Well, if you've been watching this, you know it's boring me. Is this thing... Okay. What, posting everything they do on social media. Yeah. I post a lot on social media because I have a show that I have to promote. Some days it's really sucks having to be on social media. That's why these last couple weeks were good being with family. I posted and did some stuff, but nothing like what I normally do. She streamed her whole life online. Yeah, I mean, I can see where if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. Reminds me of the parents who post their babies every moment on social media. True. Non-reciprocal love. If they ain't giving back the same energy that they're also interested in you. Yep, that's. I probably ruined a lot of potential relationships by women just not getting back to me enough. I get that women want to be chased. I am in my freaking 40s. I'm done chasing. Okay, you want to be with me? It's got to be a back and forth. Sorry. Okay, we've been at this about an hour, so I'll do a couple more of these, and I think I'll wrap it up. I think this was kind of fun. If brand names were literal, what would be the best or worst concerts to attend? Oh, band names. Ooh, Five Finger Death Punch. Fine Young Cannibals. Okay, yeah. Megadeth. REM would be a snooze fest. Smash Mouth. Rush should probably be like 5 seconds. I'm sure the Sex Pistols would be interesting. Blue Man Group would be the exact same thing. Very true. Flock of Seagulls would be pretty awful. Excuse me. Credo Philip and Napalm Death. Oh my god, I haven't listened to Napalm Death in like 30 years. Oh, I forgot they even existed, man. There's also a band out there. I'm not saying listen to them. ANALCUNT is their names. But just reading just reading the names of their songs on one of their albums was just hilarious. It was so offensive. But that's what you should expect from a band called Anal Cunt. Uh, Look them up. Let's see. Is there anything else good in here? One more. One more and we'll wrap this up. Um, what did you consider wealthy as a child? I would say, and this is going to sound really weird, but I know exactly where it comes from. Uh, a really nice leather chair is what screamed wealthy to me as a child. And it was because of a movie called The Toy. And I remember they made a big deal about sitting in Jackie Gleason's chair, and it was this really nice leather chair, and he was supposed to be this wealthy guy, but to me that was the symbol of his wealth. So like I always, and still today, like I'm like I'll look at like a really nice leather chair and be like, oh man, that's one day when I've got a good amount of money, you'll know, because I'll have a really nice chair. This one's not bad though. This one, it's a, you know, it's not leather, but it's a faux leather. Um, in kindergarten, a girl bragged that her mother had $100, and we were all very impressed. Someone had a house with stairs. They were rich. I guess I've been rich my whole life then. Having an in-ground pool, yeah, that was a big one. Having your own room, yes. I was the middle child. I had to always share with everybody. Never had my own room up until then when we finally all got our own room. Having a doorbell. Growing up, $1 million was seen magically a large amount of money. Yeah, that was mainly Hollywood. Um, Glass backboard and in concrete basketball hoop in the driveway. Yeah, that actually that speaks a lot to me as a kid. So that was a lot of the stuff from Reddit. So it was a little fun going through that stuff. Some good conversations tonight. If you're watching, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. I'll probably do some more things like this, but being gone for a little bit, this was a nice change of pace. And I hope everyone out there. I hope you're all doing well. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.